Hey, welcome back to the BGX podcast. My guest today is Shay from Neon Yellow Games. It's great to have you on the show tonight.
What's up? How you doing? My arch nemesis
That's
for a
right.
long time.
Team sleeves all the way.
Team no sleeves, right there.
Well, Shay, let's get into it a little bit. Tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get into the gaming hobby?
Yes, yeah, I'm just a blurred completely. I didn't get into board gaming until there's a show that's on YouTube called Tabletop, and it was by Will Wheaton and people at Geek and Sundry. And I seen this game called The Resistance. And ever since that game, I have been hooked. Me and my wife has been hooked. We're not hitting levels like a lot of other people is, but we got a good 50 plus games. And so we're starting that collection, and I have been playing them for 6 years and just in it. But yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm designing a game. I'm actually designing two. I'm designing a lot of things, a lot of ideas. Some people on TikTok might have seen my random ideas. But I'm designing technically two games now, and that's basically my life. And then I edit podcast and media, multimedia stuff. So that's me.
So you told me a little bit about Radio Killer, but
Mhm.
just kind of fill the audience in. So this is a game you've got in play testing now. Give us kind of the brief synopsis of the game, if you could.
Yes. So basically, what happens in Radio Killer, you all are invited into a listening party for this nice, biggest artist ever. And then during the place, he steps out, and then this red mist just starts coming through the doors. And within the red mist, you see a word saying, "Find my truth." And basically in the game, you are trying to find his truth with cards and stuff. And whoever's the first one to find it survives. Everybody else doesn't. And so it's I like to call it a replayable escape room because of how I set up the cards and stuff. It could always be a different code or different few words. And it's like that in hand management. So
Okay.
it's pretty cool.
So you mentioned that you're in play testing now. Tell us about
Mhm.
playtest. How has that been going? What's the feedback from your playtesters?
So I've been getting a lot of good feedback from playtesters. We have talked about some roles because everybody get a role and what roles really work, what roles don't work. We have talked about how the board looks now, which is going to look totally different. I'm working on that right now. We've been talking about what cards you need to add, what cards you may need to be balancing. We also talked about how nobody have won and everybody has died playing the playtest. It's it's something I'm trying to work out. And last play test, I had it, but I ran out of, because little known fact. So when I play test and I make my cards, that's really the only time I sleeve them because I wanted to have that feel to it. So it's that what I would sleeve because I want that feel. And I was I had everything printed out and I knew how to fix everything, and I ran out of sleeves. And I went to both of my game stores. I went to 3 game stores. Nobody had them. So I was dang it. And somebody lost by 1 card. So it's you know.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, obviously play testing is a big part of the game development process. How have you felt since going from the idea stage into play testing with this game? Is this the first one you've play tested?
Yeah, this is it will be board game wise, it's probably the second. The first one I play tested and I just it was too much like another game.
Okay.
So board game wise, yes, this is the first idea to actually paper, because I tell my wife and I tell people I have constant ideas, but if I type it down, it's actually going to be a thing.
Mhm.
And so this one turned into a thing, and people like it. So
Yeah. So what's that process been like of going from I have this great idea into now getting feedback and seeing the things that don't work? I mean, how do you kind of take that feedback and roll with it and then, make adjustments?
yeah, so idea wise, I didn't know how I was going to do it. I printed out cards. Luckily, we have a printer, so I printed out cards and I thought, okay, I want to make this game board. And so I was thinking that I was like, you know what? I'm going to get one of those like cork boards and
Mm.
just print the board on there. And so it'd be like sturdy. I mean, it's a one big piece, but it'd be sturdy. And so it was exciting. And I was thinking of all these different rules, and like it's fun to create stuff. And I was terrified playtesting it uh because it's like you get your baby, like it's your baby. Like with any project, it's like you're one. Like you don't want anybody to make fun of your baby. You want to you about the anyway. Uh so when I first did a play test, luckily it was with friends.
Mhm.
And yeah, I mean they died, but they had fun, and I could see things that weren't working and things that were. And so I have this oh, it's right here. I have this iPad and this little mini keyboard right here. And so
Okay.
when I'm in playtest, I just type on the thing saying, okay, this is what happened. This is what I can't see. This is what I need change. And basically throughout the process, I would like tweak some things because again, I want people to win or somebody to win. And so I'll tweak some things, and then I play another person. I'll play with other people. Then I tweak some things, and I play another person. And I don't, because I learned this, I don't change it completely, because I still want to get data and see which play tests is like, oh yeah, this keeps happening, or oh, this was a one-off.
Mm.
So it's just been a process, and I did like a whole bunch of play tests in April. I did like at least 5 or 6, and I just now I'm taking a little break, but that's what had been my like whole thing, just play testing, get away from my fears.
Yeah. So how are you play testing? Where are you finding play testers, and how are you vetting who you want to be a part of that play test?
Yeah, so I won my D&D group did it because they needed to. I had me and my wife has a couple of friends that want to play it. So that's the family portion of it.
Mhm.
I'm in this community called Ram Alternatives Productions, and you can put like, oh, I want me players to pay to do things. So I did that, and I got a good group there. And then like the board game cafe I work at, uh the owner really wanted me to play test it. Like he's excited like when it comes out, because I'm doing like Kickstarter, and I'm going to do like retail. Either way, when it comes out, he wants to do like an event, and he's gonna get like a fog machine and make it like red mist coming out of a fog machine. And I'm like, yes. So that's where I play tested too, and we're excited for it. So yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. So you mentioned Kickstarter down the road. You're looking to probably self-publish this game. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think it's important for me because I have people who can be like, hey, we'll help out, we can do that. And it's like, for me, and this is like one of the main reasons why I'm doing like going forward, there's not a lot of BIPOC itself, but a lot of PLC
Mhm.
like game designers or like game publishers. I don't know if there's one of the no, there's a couple, but like it's so few that I was like, yeah, this is going to be like a struggle, especially how I'm going to do inventory when I live in like an apartment, having 100 games there.
Yeah.
But it's like I have to, because even if my game doesn't go well, or people like, it gets a few copies sold and whatever, it's that step like, okay, me as a Black man is making this effort, and then that can inspire any other person who may be on the fence to go out and try to do it. So that's why I'm kickstarting it, because we need somebody.
Yeah. Well, I mean, representation in the board game community has been a big topic of discussion lately, especially. And I know you and Curvin and others are leading the way with that. So, what should big publishers be thinking about as far as diversifying and looking for other ways to be more diverse without appearing tokenized?
Right. So it's really the fact of it's not exactly hiring people to be in it. It's more of lifting up companies or games. So like even like small time publishers can do it, but like big things like Origins or Gen Con, if they like lift up different BIPOC companies, that will actually help, because it's like there is, and I can't remember the word right now, so I'm not going to say it, but there is a difference between uh inclusion and intention. So it's
Mhm.
like you want to include people, yes, but now you have to actually like lift up other people, not just from your side, but from other sides that seen in a place. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's how I see it.
Yeah, sort of inclusion versus justice. Inclusion is just sort of like, yeah, you guys can also come in, but justice is, hey, how do we fix that doorway so that everybody can come in at whenever they want? Like we don't have
Mm-hmm,
to
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
specifically say, so
Yeah.
yeah, so I've been seeing some intentionality. Certainly, you mentioned Origins. I think they're doing a scholarship program this year for members of the BIPOC community who
Mm-hmm.
want to come to Origins. They can apply and fill out that. So
Yeah,
we're not sponsored by
I think
Origins, but
Gen Con did that as well.
yeah,
I know Gen Con did it because I was about to sign up. Anyway, yeah,
yeah.
I know Gen Con itself. I didn't hear about Origins, but that's amazing.
Yeah. So I mean, I think some of those steps are great.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously, people like yourself inspiring the next wave of game designers from all walks of life to
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
create a game that's true to them and kind of represents their view on the world, I guess. So what advice would you have for, game designers out there who are maybe part of an underrepresented group that want to create their first game, but they're not really sure how to get started? I mean, what would you tell those people?
Well, first is to find a community of uh like-minded people, of like at least the board game community, because they're like on Facebook there is a blur channel, and I think that's been like the biggest hurdle, is because we don't know where we are. Like we know that we exist,
Hmm.
and so it's going online, find these places. So that's the first step. So like you get that safety. And then like for almost any board game designer, at least I'm an amateur, so I can't say so much about the process, but just doing it, like just going for it. Do not, like, even if it sucks, even if it's like terrible after you do it, it's doing that first step
Hmm.
and actually putting from idea to paper, and then to design, um, is like 99% of people don't do that. They just
Yeah.
have an idea and just randomly just like, oh, I want to do this. But just taking that effort puts you like in front of a whole bunch of things that will get you success, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you mentioned, you had a few game designs before the one that you're currently on and lots of
Mm-hmm.
ideas.
Mm-hmm.
How do you work through which one to pursue and which ones to sort of let fall off?
Um, it matters what I envisioning, because okay, so these are all the games I made. The first game I made was actually a game show. It was a game show called No Me or Pie. It was like a Saturday morning game show like on Nick. And that worked, but it was too much of a struggle to make it actually a thing.
Hmm.
Like how much it took me to we recorded an episode, but how much it took to do it, I had to let it go. And then I had this idea about party tricks, and it was like, what happens when magicians from different walks of life go to like a party, like a college party, and wants to impress everybody. So it was gonna have like tricks like making a tinfoil disappear under like big red cups and stuff like that. And I liked that idea, but I felt it was too much. Like after I got the things down, too much like Epic Spell Wars.
Hmm.
And so I was like, yeah, no. And then Radio Killer came out. I was like, oh, this is gonna be cool, because it's like the whole niche of it is there's songs that control people, like control the players. Because the red mist is like like it causes you hallucinations. And um my thought process was, what if I make a game that the music controls the thing? So I'm like making music for it, and I'm going to like, it's going to be on Spotify, the instrumental person, and then the word version. And like that idea being so random kept me like going, like, this is a really cool idea, I want to keep going. So that's where I'm at right now, because of a random idea I came up with when my friend had a play test. So
Yeah.
that's really what happened. It was like, if I had too much, like it was too good, I'm going for it.
Yeah. I mean, I read with that, I'm kind of the same way with businesses. You know, I like obviously not board games, but this is now my third business venture that I'm starting on, and I've probably had over 100 business ideas up to date. And you know, and I tell all of them to my wife, my poor wife. She probably thinks I'm starting a new business every week. But you know, when I get into that phase, it's just like idea after idea after idea, and then usually after a week, maybe week and 5 days or so, then it's like, yeah, nah, like it was cool to think about, but it wouldn't work for A, B, and C reasons. And then the ones that kind of stick on you, like, if I'm still thinking about it a month or two later, then okay, maybe there's something more here. I need to, start putting some pen to paper, as you said, and like, let's run some financial models and see if this would actually be viable. So, I totally agree with you. If you're out there and you're an idea person and you have lots of ideas, just start doing them. I mean, it doesn't cost you anything to go the first couple of steps usually. So, do it for as cheap as possible, but at least get some pen to paper.
And there's so many different like programs you can use that's free that you can like design stuff. Like I can think of like Inkscape is a great like source that's free. It's like a open source thing that you can make cards from or make your first design. Like I said, you can go to like your local library and print out stuff. I know mine's like 10 cents a page. So you like relatively cheap, you can start one. So
yeah. Well, that's awesome. Well, talk to us about some of your favorite games to play, or favorite game designers, maybe.
Okay, so I'm bad to name, so I can't do designers.
Okay, that's all right.
Games. Okay. This it's hard because there's so many games. Are like, okay, first one, Betrayal.
Okay.
Betrayal at House on the Hill. That's the game. I haven't beat all the scenarios in the game. I have the Betrayal Legacy. I'm getting the 3rd edition. Like, I absolutely love Betrayal. So that's my favorite game of all time. And my second is a tabletop RPG that's called 10 Candles, which is like, my third, I'm looking at my stuff. My third would probably have to be Galapagos. Oh yeah. Galapagos is definitely a good party game. Let me see. And then, because I was just thinking about this like earlier, I was like, what is like my top games? Because I got so many. And
so you mentioned Betrayal. Have you tried Betrayal at Baldur's Gate as well?
Oh, I haven't tried Betrayal at Baldur's Gate. It's at the shop, and this is what messed up because the store owner knows I love Betrayal.
Yeah.
And so what happens is like Wednesdays we do like workshops when we're teaching games. And I think I was teaching like Layers of Whitechapel, which I don't own, but I love that game. And then he was like, oh, I'll just do Betrayal. Really? You're gonna do my favorite game. So I haven't played it yet, but hopefully I get to play it soon. In fact, I know I will play it soon. And then when the 3rd edition comes out, we're definitely doing an unboxing and I'm running it. So
yeah. Well, and I also I recently picked up a copy right here of Mansions of Madness, which I have heard I haven't played it yet, but it's still unpunched. So anytime I get a game that's unpunched, I'm always like, all right, I don't want to punch it. Like, I want to punch it when I'm ready to play it, Like, it's emotional for me. So, but I got the game, and I've heard that it's sort of a betrayal, but there's more things. It's kind of an upgraded, I guess, betrayal in some ways. So,
and then you use an app for it too, and the apps kind of take you through, so you can do 1 player to like 4 player. There's at the shop too, and it's like, people have been like, we need to play it, and it's like it's gotta be like a day that we all just sit down and that's the game. So yes,
I'm definitely looking forward to playing it though, and breaking out both of those. I got Baldur's Gate as well recently. That was still in shrink. Unbeknownst to me, I bought it off Facebook Marketplace and it showed up in shrink, and I was like, hey, I'm not complaining, I'll take it. So yeah, man. So I'm looking forward to both of those.
Yeah, you'll have fun. I like I said, I love Betrayal. So I know any version of Betrayal. It's gonna be good.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, so you mentioned you're not really big into designers. What about some favorite mechanics that you liken to, or that you kind of prefer when you're playing?
I love trick taking. So like games like Spades, I absolutely love. I love deck builders. Like I was in Magic the Gathering for so long,
Yeah.
especially when Magic the Gathering Arena came out, and I was just in the pandemic just playing that. Um, I don't know if this is a mechanic or more a feeling, but I love games that brings tension. So like the first thing that pops in my mind is Pandemic,
Yeah.
especially Pandemic Legacy, which was funny because me and my sister and my wife played Pandemic while there was a pandemic, and we found it so interesting. But yeah, I love games that kind of tension, like you have to do something or be bad.
Right.
I like party games. Like I love, like I said, Galapagos is one of my biggest favorite games, and it's just this big party game, and I love that kind of co-op ish type game,
Yeah.
cooperation, like not cooperation, anyway, just you think you're going to be a co-op until you're not. Those kind of games. Social deduction games is also like my favorite.
Yeah.
Like before there was like Among Us, there was The Resistance, and so it's like that is, I guess those will be my top favorite. And anything horror, like if it has a horror base, I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a fun genre definitely to play with, and being in a game shop environment, you can certainly get creative with how you're going to present those games. A lot of times, if you're going to do a play of them, and that ahead of time.
I think it's been like really good. Like I'm so happy I'm get paid to teach games because I am literally taking notes, learning different game mechanics. So I'm getting paid to just learn what I was trying to learn in the first place. So yes.
So Shay, if people want to find out more about you or find your social channels, where can they go to follow you?
Yes, the main channel, the channel I've worked so hard on, is at Neon Yellow Games. You won't find tutorials, but you'll find me being silly. So if you're looking for silly board game content, that's where you'll find me. And then updates about my game and my journey, the ups and the downs. That's why I try to be like authentic about it. So that's where you mostly will find me.
Awesome. Well, Shay, hey, appreciate you being on the show today, man. It was great chatting with you, and
Yes.
I'm looking forward to chatting more in the future.
Well, thank you for having me. This was fun.